Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamie from meetjamie.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I thought I would go live and answer some questions that I've been getting on my YouTube channel. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. Um, it looks like it's beeping on the bottom, so that's that's good news. So I'm going to just look at some recent comments from my YouTube channel. But if you have any, um, you can certainly ask him in the chat today. I want to start doing a few more lives like this and hopefully just be a resource to you, to those of you who are getting ready to transition to the Medicare program. So thanks for tuning in. My name is Jamie from meetjamie.com. I am an independent insurance broker. I work all over the country, helping people understand the Medicare program and how to find the coverage and supplement plan that fits their needs. And so my services are completely free. If you would like a no obligation chat with me, you can give me a call toll free, 800 or go to my website, send me a message there, meetjamie.com. And so this will probably be something that I'm adding to my channel a little bit more, just trying to go live a little bit and answer some of the more common questions that I see in my comments. If you are a subscriber, I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful for each subscriber and each view that I get. So um, let's look through some of these comments here today and go from there. So Sherry Davis asked this question recently. She said, "What is the price for G? I have heard N is less and a good choice if a person is in good health. What is your opinion?" So, a couple things that I'll say about that is, when it comes to comparing Plan G with Plan N, the one thing you always want to remember is that rates vary where you live. They vary by gender, they vary by age, and they vary by tobacco status. So sometimes what happens is I will speak to people in a couple different states, and they'll they'll watch one of my YouTube videos and they'll say, "Hey, the price is different in Minnesota than it is Texas, or the price is different in Pennsylvania than it is in Florida." So that's the first thing to know. So in order to really evaluate Plan G versus Plan N, you have to start with where you live, and you have to start with those other things like your gender, tobacco status, age, those types of things. Um, Having said that, generally speaking, you can usually pay more, or excuse me, pay less in premiums with Plan N than Plan G. That's just a general statement. But you also have to evaluate the difference in cost for that premium between Plan N and Plan G, and take into consideration the co-payments that come with Plan N. So you with Plan N, you may pay a co-payment of $20 at the doctor or $50 at the emergency room. So sometimes when I do a plan comparison for people, what I'll find is maybe there's a $20 difference between Plan G and Plan N. Well, from there, then you have to evaluate, okay, there's a $20 difference, but I may also pay a copayment at the doctor. I may pay a copayment at the emergency room. And so just recently, I helped someone here in Minnesota looking for a Medicare supplement plan, and they chose Minnesota's version of Plan N, because they felt like they would just, take on the exposure, so to speak, the risk of those co-payments. So it is a personal choice. There's multiple factors to consider, but Plan N can certainly be a really good option for some people. Um, Someone actually commented and said, "Please stop picking on Advantage. I've had it for years and love it. I think you don't like competition." So it's an interesting comment, but one of the things that I'll say is that um, for agents like myself, our services are free to you as Medicare beneficiaries. Um, the insurance companies compensate us for helping Medicare beneficiaries, so you don't pay anything for our services. It's beneficial for to us as agents to be as unbiased as possible because ultimately we want what's best for our clients. At least I do. I want my clients to be happy with the coverage that they chose. So many times when I talk to people, they ask me almost every single day. They ask me, "Hey, what is this person? What are you seeing in the industry? What are people choosing for plans?" And so now that I've worked with as many Medicare beneficiaries as I have a collection of stories, a big collection of stories, and it gets bigger every week. And so I can bring that knowledge and information of all of those conversations to the meetings and the conversations I have with new people and say, look, these are some of the things that people on Medicare tell me. I'm not on Medicare yet. Um, but my parents are on Medicare. I have a younger sister who's on disability, who's on a Medicare. So if you ever feel like someone is picking on somebody or some plan or carrier, hopefully you can give them the benefit of the doubt and say this person is looking out for my best interest. Um, Next question. uh, I get a lot of questions on my video. Can I switch from Medicare Advantage plan back to original Medicare? Ironically, I just wrapped up a meeting with someone and they asked this question. Um, so yes, you can always go from a Medicare Advantage to original Medicare. The the issue becomes if you also want to add a Medicare supplement plan, because if you're outside of what's called your initial enrollment to Medicare for a supplement plan, carriers can ask you medical questions. They can require you to go to through medical underwriting to qualify. So you can always switch to original Medicare, but the real question is, will you qualify for a Medicare supplement plan? Wendy Phillips says it's very hard to move back to original Medicare from Medicare Advantage. Once you're tricked into Medicare Advantage, it's very hard or impossible for many to go back to original Medicare. Um, Again, I probably wouldn't use that strong of language, but um, I think what she's talking about is getting back into a Medicare supplement plan, which someone also brought up on that video, that I didn't bring up the medical underwriting when you're trying to qualify for a supplement down the road. So, yes, if you are on a Medicare Advantage and you want to switch back to original Medicare and you want to add a Medicare supplement, just keep in mind that you most likely will have to go through and qualify medically for that supplement plan. Another popular video here on my channel is where I talk about Flex Card for seniors. Someone said the Flex plan saved me. I make too much money to get food assistance, but I need the extra money to offset the cost of food because I'm celiac and my food requirements are quite a bit more than the average person spends who doesn't have this condition. So yeah, sometimes again, everybody's different. That can be a really good option. So if you're just joining me live and you have any questions about Medicare, feel free to leave them in the chat below. This is kind of another common question. So if you hear medical underwriting or you hear about health questions, some people ask questions like Franny12 did here. She said, why would there be underwriting if the companies won't deny anymore? So when we're talking about medical underwriting, it's important to remember that in the Medicare world, we're talking about Medicare supplement plans. A lot of times people are familiar with the Affordable Care Act that was passed, and they think that what happened with the Affordable Care Act carried over to Medicare. Those are two different bills, two different legislations. So, again, just to reiterate, if you are outside of your initial enrollment or your open enrollment period for Medicare and you want to do a Medicare supplement plan, the carriers can require you to go through medical underwriting. This is why it's so important to understand all of your Medicare rights when you first become eligible for Medicare, because you do have that 6-month window. Um, Another person commented, my Medicare Advantage is so much better than my original Medicare with a supplemental. Best move I ever made. It may be because I'm on a group plan. Again, there's a lot of variables with some of these comments on YouTube, so I'm doing the best to answer them. But if you have something that's connected to your employer coverage, that is not the same as being on Medicare. Um, and so you just have to remember that. Um, let's see. Someone said, I think you missed a very key point. This was on, can I switch from Medicare Advantage back to original Medicare? Um, and that is that in some states, they don't require, I'm not sure what this person is talking about. They don't require you to go through health questions or exams. Yeah, each state has unique laws around that, but generally speaking, you always want to consider the Medicare supplement open enrollment. Um, let's see. I'm just looking through some other comments. If you are watching and if you have any questions about Medicare, let me know. Someone asked, could I make a table with the N plan? I'm looking for the cheapest plan N in Minnesota. I think I did that already. I'll have to double check. Someone just commented, I want to switch back to basic Medicare because of the network. My only real health issue is ARMD. Is that serious enough to get disqualified? Great question. Um, that would depend on how the treat how and what they're treating you with right now. So one of the things that happens with supplement plans, if you're outside of that open enrollment, and let's say you go through the medical underwriting process, there's usually about 15 questions. But then you also list with them who your doctor is and who your specialist is. Then you tell them what you're seeing that specialist for, and then what treatments they're giving to you for that, whatever that condition is. And so that's one of the reasons that um, you give them permission. You actually have to grant them permission to be able to see your health history. And actually, some of the carriers that I work with now, they can do it all online and electronically. This person says, I need exams to make sure it hasn't progressed yet. Gotcha. Yeah. So, what I would say to that question is the best thing to do would be you could, um, yeah, that's a good question. Let me just pull something up else up here while we're talking. Uh, Great question, by the way. I appreciate it. That's probably a common question that quite a few people have. So, I have a little chat here in front of me with some other agents. It's nice to have some expertise. So I just sent that to him. Um, just trying to see here if there's some other questions here. All right, another question that I see once in a while um, is connected to Medicaid and Medicare Advantage. There's a lot of questions about this right now, actually, because some people lost their coverage and they are trying to figure out what they can do. So, this person said, I had traditional Medicare, trying to get a supplemental insurance to cover the 20% gap. I ended up signing up for Medicare Advantage since I qualify for Medicaid. Going back to a traditional Medicaid, would I traditional Medicare, excuse me, would I lose Medicaid? So Medicaid is connected to your income depending on which state you live. So whether or not you get to keep it or not is connected to that. So the best thing to do in that situation would be able to, or would be to contact those services, the Medicaid services. Um, Someone asked, what site did I get that table from? So I have a Medicare video out there, Minnesota Medicare video out there, I should say. And what's funny is there's a chart that I use. It's from a resource. What is it called? It's called Medicare 101. It's a great little resource. It's called Your Guide to Medicare in Minnesota. They don't put this out in paper anymore, which is a big bummer. But you can get the chart if you're looking for it in at minnesotahelp.info is the name of it. So that's a good resource. Someone said my dad got Aetna. He only gets 250, which comes in every 3 months. Can only pay light bill or food. So that was on the Flex Card video again. That's one of my more popular videos. The thing with the Flex Card and the grocery benefit or whatever you want to call it, I see these ads now all the time on Facebook. You always have to read the fine print on those. You always want to check and see, okay, how do I qualify for this, or can I qualify for it? Because a lot of times um, those are based on your income as well. And the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is sometimes those marketing things, um, they actually they don't set it up right, and they're advertising in states that they shouldn't be, where it's not even um, they shouldn't even be advertising it there because those plans aren't even available in those states. I messaged someone today, and they I told them, hey, your ad's showing in this is showing in this state, and he was in a completely different country. Let's see. So back to your original question. This is for about the ARMD. So you're not getting injections yet. That's what I had an agent comment because that makes a difference. I don't know if you're still there or not. Someone else said if you have a Medigap Plan G, high deductible G, and are moving to a state where your current Medigap insurance carrier does not provide service, but other insurance companies do provide a high deductible Plan G, is there a guaranteed issue to enroll in one of those available plans they offer? Um, so it really depends on where you're moving and if the plan that you have is being canceled. Typically, if you move from one state to the other, the best thing to do is to notify the carrier that has your supplement plan and let them know and just say, hey, I'm moving to a new state. Um, is there anything I need to know about that? So, all right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream today. I don't want to go too long, but I appreciate those of you watching um, and commenting. And I'm going to just drop Yeah, I'm gonna just wrap up this live stream. It's a little intimidating going live. I'm not gonna lie. You're just out there for the world to see. Anyways, if you have other questions, give me a call, send me a message through my website, and I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you in the next one. Have a great day.